Hello everyone. Last time we covered with the concept of Kingdom Monera and Kingdom Protista. In Kingdom Monera we learned it in detail about Eubacteria, Cyanobacteria. And in Kingdom Protista we learned about all the classification of Kingdom Protista, that is chrysophytes. Yes, then we learned about dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, protozoans, and all the classification of protozoans also we learned, that is what ciliated, amoeboid, flagellated, sporozoans, right? All these things, all these organisms we learned it in detail, and today we are going to start with the next kingdom of Viteco, that is kingdom fungi. Now you must have often seen in humid climate or in rainy season the white cottony mass which is present on a piece of a stale bread, right? So these are all a type of a fungi. Now in the rainy season also you see a green color umbrella like structures when you go for a walk, a morning walk or something. The umbrella like structure which is there, that is known as a mushroom. That is also a kind of a fungi. So here we go into detail about kingdom fungi. That is, kingdom fungi includes a unique group of heterotrophic and eukaryotic organisms which do not have chlorophyll and hence they cannot prepare their own food. Okay, they have a multicellular body with an exception of yeast, which is unicellular fungus. Okay, the mushrooms are reproductive structures arising from filamentous multinucleate mass of vegetative body which is found within the tissues of wood. Body consists of elongated filaments called hyphae which form a network called mycelium. Okay. Now some hyphae are continuous tubes filled with multinucleate cytoplasm. They are called sinusoidal hyphae. And some hyphae have septate or cross walls. They are called septate hyphae. Now the cell wall is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. Okay, it is made up of chitin and polysaccharides. Now fungi can be either parasitic, either saprophytic or symbiotic. Mainly they are saprophytic, that is they live on the dead and decaying organic matter. Hence they are called saprophytes. The ones that live and depend on the host organism or on the living plants and animals, they are called parasites, right? Meaning they consume the nutrients. The parasites are the one that consume the nutrients from the host organism. Now host organisms means what? The one who gives the nutrients to that particular organism, that is a parasite. Okay, and that live in association with other organisms are called symbionts, where both get benefited. Now lichens are association of fungi and algae. Okay, lichens are association of fungi and algae. Now fungi are cosmopolitan and occur in air, water, soil and on animals and plants. They grow well in warm and humid places as well. Now fungi is the one that can reproduce sexually as well as asexually. Here you can give an example is what? Yeast, Aspergillus, Agaricus. Okay, yeast is a unicellular fungi. Agaricus is a mushroom. The scientific name of mushroom is Agaricus. Then you have Rhizopus, that is a bread mold. Okay, now when I have to talk about the reproduction, if I talk about asexual reproduction in detail, it's asexual reproduction is by various means like budding, fission, fragmentation, and by spores called conidia or sporangiospores or zoospores. Okay, when I talk about budding, when I talk about fission, when I talk about fragmentation, all these process we have covered in 10th standard concept, right? That is in reproduction chapter. To go it in small gist, in budding we know the small protrusion or in a parent cell a small outgrowth has been formed, and that outgrowth is a miniature yeast that you can say, and that they get the nutrients from the parent cell, and after they get mature they get detached from the parent. That is a budding. So that was one example of reproduction. Okay. Now when I talk about sexual reproduction, it's by spores like oospores, ascospores and basidiospores. The spores are formed in distinct structure called fruiting bodies. Okay. Now the sexual cycle involves 3 steps. One is fusion of protoplasm of 2 motile or non-motile gametes called plasmogamy. Second is fusion of 2 nuclei called karyogamy. It leads to formation of zygote. Okay, karyogamy is the division of nucleus. And the third one is meiosis in zygote resulting in haploid spores. Okay, now when I have to talk about the classification of kingdom fungi, it is classified into 4, that is phycomycetes, ascomycetes, basidiomycetes and deuteromycetes. I repeat, phycomycetes, ascomycetes, basidiomycetes and deuteromycetes. Okay, now when I talk about the first one, that is phycomycetes, or you can also name it as zygomycetes. Okay, to go in detail, what is phycomycetes, the special features of phycomycetes fungi. It can be found in aquatic habitats, on decaying wood, in moist and damp places. Okay, the mycelium is aseptate. It does not have a septum, a partition. Okay, and there is no cross walls here. Asexual reproduction takes place with the formation of motile zoospore or by non-motile aplanospores. The spores are produced endogenously in the sporangium. Now phycomycetes, as I told you, it is also called as zygomycetes because of the formation of diploid zygospore. Okay, during sexual reproduction. Now what is zygospore? It is formed by the fusion of two gametes. These gametes could be similar in morphology, that is isogamous, or dissimilar, that is anisogamous. Now the zygospore has a protective covering that can withstand extreme conditions. Okay, here you can give an example of Rhizopus, Mucor, Albugo, which is a parasitic fungi on mustard. Okay, the second is Ascomycetes, which is also termed as sac fungi. Now here ascus means sac, mycetes means fungus. So that is the reason it is commonly said as what? Sac fungi. Now they include familiar members like unicellular yeast, Saccharomyces, or multicellular fungi like penicillium, blue and green molds of blue cheese, and citrus fruits, and edible morels as well. They are mainly saprophytic or parasitic. Some could be decomposers, and that is growing on the dung. Okay, now they have a septate and branched hyphae producing the mycelium. Now when I have to talk about reproduction, asexual as well as sexual. It is asexual reproduction is by producing asexual spores called conidia, which is produced exogenously on the tips of the hyphae, okay, which is called conidiopores. Now when I talk about conidia, on germination they produce what? Mycelium. Now sexual reproduction occurs by sexual spores, that is ascospores, which are produced endogenously in sac-like structures called asci, or in singular form if you have to say, you can say ascus. These asci are arranged in different types of fruiting bodies called ascocarps. Here you can give an example of Saccharomyces, that is yeast. Okay, then penicillium, which is a meaning from which the antibiotic penicillin is derived, aspergillus, etc. Okay, the third one is Basidiomycetes, which is known as club fungi, commonly known as club fungi. Okay, now this is the most common known forms of this fungi are mushrooms, Basidiomycetes. In Basidiomycetes, this is the most common fungi called mushrooms, bracket fungi or puff balls. They grow in soil on logs and tree stumps, and in living plant bodies as parasites in the form of rust and smuts. Now asexual spores are generally not found, but vegetative reproduction can take place by fragmentation. The sexual reproduction occurs by fusion of two different strains of haploid mycelium, giving rise to a dikaryotic mycelium. Okay, here you can give an example of what? Agaricus, which is a mushroom, as we have already discussed. Then you can give an example of Puccinia, which is a rust fungus and as a parasitic fungi. The fourth one is Deuteromycetes, which is also commonly known as imperfect fungi. Okay, now they are commonly known as imperfect fungi. Why? Because only the asexual or vegetative phases of these fungi are known, while sexual reproduction is not observed, has not been observed so far. So they reproduce by only asexual spores, which is known as conidia. Okay, and the mycelium which is there, it is septate and branched. Here some members are saprophytes, some are parasites, while a very large number are decomposers. Okay, now this group includes a number of human parasites that cause athlete's foot or ringworm. Okay, here you can give an example of Trichoderma, Alternaria. These are the examples of what? Deuteromycetes. The next kingdom we have to start with is kingdom Planctae. Now we all know the basic characteristic feature of kingdom Planctae or plants. Now when I talk about plants, what comes into picture is the basic characteristic that comes into picture is what? It is immotile, right? Then it has autotrophic mode of nutrition, but there are some plants which are heterotrophs as well. What example you can give is the insectivorous plant, the cuscuta, right? So these example you can give for the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. It includes all eukaryotic photosynthetic plants which live on either land or either water. Okay. Now the plants which are there, they have a rigid cell wall. The plants which are there, they have a rigid cell wall which gives shapes to the plant, which helps in the protection. Okay. Now few are heterotrophic and have different modes of nutrition as I stated earlier. Now partial or complete parasites live on other plants, for example Cuscuta. Insectivorous plants trap and digest insect. Here you can give an example of a picture plant. Then symbiotic, that is live in association with nitrogen fixing bacteria or fungi, which is an example you can give here is leguminous plant. Okay, so they are mainly producers on land and along seashores and form the dominant vegetation of shallow lakes and ponds. The major group of plankton are algae, which can be in red, brown or green. Then bryophytes, which are mosses or liverworts. Then pteridophytes, which includes ferns. Gymnosperm, the seed plants without the flowers, and angiosperm, the seed plants with the flowers. Okay, this is about kingdom Plankton. The next is about the kingdom Animalia. Now when I have to talk about kingdom Animalia, they are eukaryotic, they are multicellular, heterotrophic mode of nutrition. They do not have a cell wall as that compared to the plant cell, right? And they are directly or indirectly dependent on plants for their food. Okay, now the mode of nutrition, as I said, heterotrophic, they are holozoic, right? So when I say holozoic, they undergo processes like what? They undergo processes like ingestion, digestion, assimilation, egestion. All these processes are they are undergoing with, right? And if I have to talk about reproduction, it is sexual reproduction. When I say about, when I spoke about the motility, there is an exception here that I can say is about sponges. Okay, though they belong to kingdom Animalia, the motility is not, the point of motility is not applicable for sponges here. They are an exception here. Now when I have to talk about the reproduction, they undergo sexual reproduction by what? Formation of gametes, right? Now when I say formation of gametes means what? Which is followed by embryonic development. Okay, this is about kingdom Animalia. The next is we are going to learn is about the viruses. Okay, we are completed with the Whittaker's 5 kingdom classification. The next that we have to learn an important topic in this chapter is about viruses. Now viruses are unique in so many ways. Now they cannot be termed as a prokaryote or a eukaryote as they do not have a cellular structure. They contain hereditary material in the form of DNA or RNA, forming a core which is enclosed in a protein coat which is called as capsid. Now they exhibit properties of both living as well as non-living. So virus has no metabolic activity of its own. It becomes active and multiplies when it infects or attacks a specific host cell. Now when removed from a cell, it can be stored as a crystal in a bottle for several years. A virus can survive as a parasite only inside a living cell. Okay. Now viruses are much smaller than bacteria. Viruses are much smaller than bacteria. They are considered to be the smallest living organisms. Now the size can vary up to 20 nanometer to 300 nanometer, which is about 50 times smaller than a bacteria. Okay. Now the genetic material of viruses could be either a DNA or an RNA. No virus contains both DNA and RNA. So for example, influenza virus and smallpox virus, they contain DNA. Measles virus, AIDS virus, then you can give an example of hepatitis B virus, etc. Okay. Now tobacco mosaic virus and most of the plant viruses contain single-stranded RNA. Okay. Now the viruses are very specific about the host they infect. They have been classified into 3 categories according to the host that they live in. These are bacterial viruses, which are called bacteriophages, that infect the bacterial cell, plant viruses that infect the plant cells, and animal viruses that infect the animal cells. So they are categorized into 3. One is bacterial, then second is plant virus, and third is animal virus. Okay, this was all about the virus that we have to study. Now we move on with the viroids. Now when I talk about the viroids, these are even smaller than a virus. Now they were discovered by a scientist who is known as Diener in 1971 as a new infectious agent that caused potato spindle tuber disease. Now they consist of free RNA molecule and they lack this protein coat which is found in viruses. Hence they are called as viroids. So the RNA of the viroids is has low molecular weight. Okay, the last part of the concept is the lichen. When I talk about lichen, they are composed of a symbiotic association of the fungus with an algae or a cyanobacterium. Now the fungus is an ascomycetes or basidiomycetes. When I have to talk about the economic importance of a lichen, they make the food of animals like the reindeer, and musk ox in the tundra region. Okay, so there they are referred to as reindeer moss. They yield several pigments including the pH indicator and the litmus. They are also used as medicines and for flavors or fragrances. Okay, on rocky areas they begin the soil formation by etching the rock surface and adding their own content. Now they act as useful pollutant monitors as their number and variety increases as the distance from polluted areas increases. Okay. Now that today we have learned about the kingdom, the remaining part of the kingdom, that is about fungi, the Whitaker's remaining kingdom, that is kingdom fungi. We learned about plantae, we learned about animalia. Then we came to the different topic apart from the Whitaker's kingdom classification, that is the viruses, the virioids and the lichens. Kindly go through it completely, study well. Thank you so much.